Hello, welcome to Genius and Intelligence Academy once again. My name is Ridwanullah. I'm your host and coach. In this video, I will be sharing with you 3 ways to learn deeply and never forget. 3 ways to learn deeply and never forget. It's very usual that students they have this difficulty of remembering the things they've learned over time, and especially on tests or spontaneously when they need it. So why does this happen? There is a reason for this. I'm going to explain that in another video, but today in this video what I'm concerned about is teaching you how to learn in 3 ways and never forget. That's the word, never forget. 3 ways to learn and never forget. So what's the first way? The first thing to do when you're learning a concept and you don't want to forget is to simplify. Simplification. If you're studying a concept and the concept is difficult, let's say you are learning, for instance, the chain of production in economics, for instance, the first thing you should do is to understand the concept. What is the background information? What is the whole topic about? What is the concept about? So that's the first thing you do. So it doesn't make much sense to dive headlong into the concept you're learning and try to cram the information. That's the basis of the concept you are learning. And sometimes you are learning some concepts and it is difficult for you to understand what they're trying to say, perhaps the definition. It makes so much sense that you bring your L2 or your L1 rather into context. So if you're learning a concept you don't understand, you might translate into your local language to see if it makes more sense to you before you translate back into English. I do that a lot when I'm learning something and it's difficult. Then I make use of my mother tongue, that is Yoruba. Then I bring it back into English in my own words, while retaining the keywords. So the first thing to do when learning is to simplify. And in fact, it's said that if you understand something and you cannot teach it to a 5-year-old, then you don't understand it. So before you can teach something to a 5-year-old, imagine that. Before you can teach something to a 5-year-old, you must have understood it deeply yourself. So the way to understand that deeply is to make a perfect and absolute simplification of the concept you are trying to learn. The second thing to do is to visualize. Visualization. It makes so much sense that when you're learning a concept, you create a picture for it, an abstract mental picture for it, because it is said that the brain learns more efficiently with pictures. If you remember, as kids, one of the ways we learned was through images. In fact, as adults, one of the ways we retain more information is through the things we see. So now you're learning something and there is no picture for it. How do you go about it? You can create pictures yourself. Yeah, so that's what we call visualization. So you are creating a mental image for the concept you're learning within yourself. So for instance, let's assume you're learning the chain of production in economics now. Instead of taking the theory and learning it abstract, you can sit down and create a picture. Okay, there are 4 or 5 or 6 chains, as much as you know. Then you imagine the chain of production starting from the manufacturer. And who's the manufacturer? I just create a picture of someone who goes to the market and gathers together pieces of raw material to create a product, say a mobile phone. So when he creates the product, then he manufactures it. That's the manufacturer. You can just put up a picture of the manufacturing process. You can start thinking about the mobile phone is made. That's a problem. So when you are done with that, then imagine what happens after the manufacturer had manufactured the product is working on. Now the first stage of production has been completed. So what happens afterwards? Then you can just create a picture of someone who comes to the manufacturer to buy in bulk, and that is the wholesaler. Now all of these things, you're learning the concept and you're creating a picture for them. When you get to the exam hall, when you want to use information later or want to explain to someone else, then you just have to create this picture for them. You can just imagine someone who creates products as a manufacturer, that someone comes, buys in bulk. That is, in fact, you can imagine the bulk, like someone coming to buy a truckload of cement from Dangote. That's the wholesaler. Then you take the retailer and to the end of the continuum. So that's the second thing. The second thing is to visualize, create a mental image of what you are trying to learn. There are rules of creating mental images. God willing, in another video I'm going to explain to you how to do this properly. And the third thing, the third final thing to do is to that whatever is done for us without us is against us. It makes more sense, and it is applicable to knowledge and to learning. So when you're learning concepts and you're not present in that concept you're learning, it takes much more time for you to assimilate and digest information, and it makes it more hard for you to recall the information afterwards. So if you're learning something and you're present in it, you're having a practical experience. Experiences are said to be the best teacher because it happens to us, we feel it, we participate in it, and we learn the information or the lessons firsthand. But when you're reading, of course, it's something that's happened to someone or some concept someone has brought up, it doesn't make more sense to us. So we have to be involved in the process of the learning. So that is what contextualizing does for you. Now, how do you contextualize? Let me give you the instance of, I don't want to use the example of the chain of production. Let's assume you're learning a theory of attribution in psychology, for instance, and attribution is the tendency for humans to attribute, to bring a cause for someone's action or behavior. Now, imagine yourself going out this morning without bathing. It's hammer time and it's very cold. So you left your house without having your bath, and now put yourself in your observer's shoes. How would someone think when they see you? So, wow, it looks so rough. Why hasn't he taken his bath? Or perhaps he's rushing up to something. Perhaps it's that. Now that's attribution. So in attribution, what happens is that people either attribute the situation, the happening, the behavior, or the action to the circumstance or to the personality. So if someone assumes that, oh, it's looking rough or she's looking rough because she's not had a bath, because she's rushing to meet up with an appointment or to attend to something very urgent, that is situational attribution or circumstantial attribution. Or if they assume that, oh, I know him, he's a very dirty boy, he's used to that, that is dispositional attribution. Now, you've brought yourself into the context of what you're learning. You don't have to stress yourself cramming all the information around these concepts. You've understood what this information is about. So when you understand the concepts, it comes naturally to you whenever you need it, either on a test or to explain to someone subsequently. So if you want to learn deeply and never forget, try to do these three things. The first is to simplify the information you're trying to learn. The second thing is to visualize it, create mental pictures, mental images for it, and the third thing is to contextualize. Bring yourself into what you are learning. So whatever is done for you, with you, is for you. Thank you for your time. Have any questions for me? Reach out. I'll appreciate your comments. Thanks. Bye.